Choose a career, choose never to alter game. Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to be looking at the best Season 2 settings for Warzone as well as Cold War multiplayer. So first of all, we're going to be looking at Warzone. So on Warzone side of things, the button layout with tactical for me is the best thing I like to use. I like having my crouch and my prone and slide all on R1, so it makes the slide cancelling a lot easier to enable and to go through and do. Stick layout default, I've always had it as default, never changed it, never tried any of the others. This could be personal preference. Next up, we have the invert vertical look. This for me is disabled. I'm so used to having this way. I don't ever have the axes inverted. Some people do that, so it's another personal preference. Dead zone. This is basically where your right stick sticks on the analog stick, and if it has a slight movement when you're aiming down sights or movement, you might want to change this so you don't get any movement with your controller. Horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity. This is totally personal preference. The higher up you go, the more quick you can pan around. The slower, it means it moves more slowly, but you have more control over your movements, whereas higher, it means slight movements will change it. This is another personal preference. Try around, figure out what works best for you, and keep changing it. The next one is the ADS sensitivity for multiplier for low zoom and high zoom. This I tend to have down lower, so if I'm aiming down sights, I can make those minute incremental changes to get those better shots. The same with high zoom, only slightly changed. My aim response curve is dynamic. This one I seem to be the best. So when I aim, my aiming and following the curve will follow nicely along for the players. Controller vibration disabled. I don't really want when someone's firing at me or firing my controller vibrating, which is going to affect my movement as well as my control as well. So you always have that disabled. So disabled for controller vibration is definitely a key thing for everyone to have. Aim assist, I've got standard, just for me, another personal preference. Don't really see much difference in them in terms of when it plops onto someone. Standard works for me well. Mount activation, ADS and melee. I find this just very easy and simple to use. Weapon mount, movement exit disabled. I like to just be able to release my ADS and melee to come off from my mounting. Aim down sight, hold down. I don't like toggling, I like to hold and then release so it's quick and easy. It's another critical thing. Equipment behavior, hold. I like this so I can just pop one or hold it more for loading more armor. Contextual tap is probably the key thing to have here. This helps in terms of just quickly picking up stuff, reloading, and also putting on your armor plates. Definitely contextual tap is something that you guys need to be using. Depleted ammo switch. I don't want to be switching guns if I run out of ammo. I want to be manually reloading. I don't want to be dropping into a gun that I don't want to be using in a gunfight. And armor plate behavior. For me, I just like applying one if it's the case, and then I can hold it down, and then it will then add all the other ones, which is perfect. Movement side, slide behavior is tap, so I want to be able to slide into a tap. I don't want to be holding it. For tapping, it makes it easy to pop, and also helps on the slide cancel. Auto move forward, I have this disabled. I like to be able to move forward by basically enabling the keypad stick on my controller to be able to do that. I don't want to be auto. Same with automatic sprint. I want this disabled. I want to be able to engage this myself. Video camera recenter. This can actually be quite a pain. So I would have this disabled because sometimes you'll be flying in and suddenly the angle changes and it just messes up. So this definitely have disabled. I found this out yesterday when I was online in a heli coming down, trying to span around the area, trying to see what's going on. And the worst case that happened was it then jittered around and re-centered the camera, and it just looked really weird. It was just no fun. And also another critical one is parachute auto deploy. Have this disabled. Means that you have to open the parachute, but means you can get lower to ground. There's a certain cap, so as you're landing down, it automatically opens, say, between like 0 meters and 7 meters. If you try and land on open a chute below that, it won't. Whereas if you have it disabled, it means you can land a lot lower, which is a lot quicker. So this is definitely a key thing. General wise, let's go to the top. Brightness, I tend to have this, my brightness at 48. You can adjust it how accordingly because you want to be able to see more stuff, but you don't want it too light, so everything's the same. You want to have the clear contrasting colors. My safe area, that's your screen size. Film grain, kind of don't worry. Subtitles, standard, not worried. World motion blur. We don't want this. We don't want to be moving and every object blurs. We want it just to be static. So it makes it a lot easier to see people when they pop up on our screen. And the same with weapon motion blur. Disable this. These two things are quite critical in having a better game and creating a high kill to death ratio. So make sure these two are disabled. Your HUD here, another clear point, have it square. Don't have it circular. Square shows up more visually. You can see with the comparison here that the square shows you more on the map. So seeing more on the map, much better than seeing little. Have the rotation enabled, so it makes it a lot easier to pinpoint where your enemies are on the map instead of having to, like, it's clear. If you're walking forward and it's north and the enemies pop there, you want to be able to know exactly where they are in relation to you. The compass cardinal direction text, total preference. Do you want it letters or numbers? Me personally, like numbers. I like saying south, west, northwest, and then saying what number it is afterwards. So that is, for me, is a bit more easier. And the rest. Another one I've removed is dismemberment and gore effects disabled. I don't need the necessary processing power to have these effects on people when they blow up and stuff. I'd much rather play the game and enjoy it as it is. Audio. So this is key. So if you're using the Astro A40 TRs, then these settings clearly do help in making sure you can hear those footsteps, reload times, and drowns out the noise of unnecessary noises and makes it just better game. So audio mix boost high, master volume 100. Music volume 0. We don't want to have any music volume. We're here to play the game, enjoy the game, and immerse ourselves in the game, not have any background music. So that is definitely 0. Dialogue volume 20. We don't want it too high to impinge us in any way, but enough just to hear key things occasionally in the game. Effects volume 100. We want this at max so we can hear those footsteps and helps even better with the Astro A40 TRs. Juggernaut music disabled. Hit marker sounds none. We don't want those unnecessary extras there, and the rest is just for your voice chat. So that's it, folks, and I will next be checking out these settings for Cold War multiplayer. So hold up and we'll check them out. Cheers, thanks, bye. Welcome back, folks. So now we're checking out the console settings for Cold War multiplayer. As we can see, if we check out the controller, horizontal and vertical are still 7, very similar to my Warzone, but actually they're not similar, they are identical. The ADS stick sensitivity is the same as well, 0.85 and 0.99. My button layout is tactical, which is the same again, so I like to keep everything very similar when I'm playing multiplayer as well as Warzone, not having to flip it up. Invert look is disabled, which is the same kind of thing. Aim response curve, standard, sticks to the same as what we saw in Warzone. Controller vibration, key, we want this as disabled. We don't want this affecting any movement or any change we do when we're aiming down sights and the controller's vibrating. We just don't want that. Gameplay wise, target aim assist is enabled. And the target aim assist mode is standard, same again, which we have for Warzone. ADS aim assist is enabled. Mantling is automatic. This, we just want to mantle automatically on nearby obstacles that are moving towards them, Aim down sight behavior is hold. We like to hold it and then release it when we're not aiming down sights. Steady aim behavior, we also like to hold this as well. Armor behavior, apply 1. Instead of applying, we just want to apply 1 and then hold it to apply more plates, which makes it easy for us. We don't want to be stuck in having to apply all the plates if we need to quickly move. Attack vehicle control mode, aim based, same again. Stick layout is set as default. Stick input is 10 and 99. This is 10, 99. This is quite how you prefer it. This is like personal preference. Just play around with how you like your threshold to be, of how far you have to move it to affect. But I kind of like it working this way. So just try it out. Controller sounds disabled. We don't want any sounds coming through our controller. We want everything coming through our headsets. Auto move forward disabled. We want to be able to engage that auto move manually. We don't want it automatically. So we want to be able to know when we're sprinting and know when we're stopping. So that sprint to fire time, we know when that's going to be affected if we're aiming down sights. Same with auto sprint, we want it disabled, so we have to automatically engage it. Sprint behavior, go to press to sprint. Press in the game won't do anything. Release, move forward. So that makes it easy for us to engage. We don't want to be stopping, starting, pressing, especially when it's on our R3 button. Sprint cancels reload. Disabled. Choosing if starting to sprint should interrupt your loadings. So it's disabled. So for reloading, sprinting won't stop us from reloading. Parachute auto deploy disabled. I like to be able to engage and telling exactly when I want to pop the parachute. I don't want it automatically pop in 7 meters above. I like to go down below that before I engage it. Equipment behavior, hold and interact reload. Prioritize interact. So you tap to reload and interact. If we're both simultaneous, then tap to interact and then hold to reload. So sometimes it's easy just to hold to reload, and otherwise you're tapping just to interact with objects around. Graphics wise, we will be looking at, the main thing is the field of view. This is something that's unique to Cold War multiplayer, and it isn't related at all to Warzone currently. So this is how much you can see on the screen. So you can see, for an example, if you have it set to 60, you have a very narrow field of depth, or field of view, as one would say. If you increase this outwards, it increases what you see, but everything seems further away. So by doing that, we then want to make sure we have the ADS field of view affected. So as you aim down sights, it kind of zooms in a little bit. Well, it doesn't really, but it just makes it look like you zoom in. So it makes it easier to see what you're doing. But this is his personal preference, but I like to have around about 90, 91. Anything else, I feel like you move. It looks like you're moving a lot faster. You can see a lot more on your periphery visions, but you don't want to be too much, and then you seem way too far away from players. You want that nice balance. So try out 91. See what works with you, but that is down to personal preference again. Another thing, vehicle aiming field of view is affected, so that's the same thing. As soon as you build, if you have it disabled, it just doesn't affect. It's the same as the one above ADS field of view. So it's the same effect if you're in a vehicle. It's the same when you aim down sights. Motion blur disabled. We don't want to be having any blur when moving rapidly. We want everything to stay static so we can see those enemies pop up, or if someone pops up behind a hill or a tree or something or other, we want to see them. If it's blurring, it's going to blur into the background. It'd be very hard to see them. So audio, these are key for our Astra A40 TRs. So mute sound. That's quite self-explanatory. You don't want to mute that because then it defaults everything else and it's all stopped. So master volume 100%. Music 0. Same thing. We don't want the music affecting us at all. We want to be immersed in the game and hearing all the effects and everything that's going on. That's why I have the sound effects hit to 100. Dialogue 20. Just want them as slight background noise. Don't want them overpowering anything else, but we just want them slightly in the background. Cinematics volume 100 as well. Audio presets at high boost. And the hit marker sound effects disabled. If we're aiming down something, we know if we're going to be hitting someone, so we don't need a hit effect to tell us that we're firing at someone. The rest of them are just voice chats, so we don't have to worry about that. And then interface wise, anything here that we're worried about, crosshairs shown. Do you want them shown or not shown? You're going to always want these shown. Hit marker visuals. So these are quite good. So when you are firing, you know that you're hitting. This is a good visual. You don't need the sound effects for it. Damage based hit markers. These are quite good. So we've already disabled the volume of these, but this is quite good to see with the markers. It's quite good to see their health. So when we fire them, we know how much we've depleted them. So if we are pushing them, we know how much left of health they've got. Well, that's the allies. So it's good to know your allies. And then your enemy health bars is definitely key to have. Player's full name. This is definitely a good one. So when they do see them, if they've got a massive long name, it's a bigger marker to see than just having the bar with a little single red dot. If it's got a name, it pops out more. It's easier to see visually for us. Horizontal compass shown. Floating damage numbers enabled. Not worried about that. In-game alerts. If something happens, it's probably good to know if you're disconnected. You get alerts telling you that. Input the device icons. Not really worried. I only use controller. I don't use a mouse. Don't use a mouse at all, as you can see, which is good. An account. We don't worry about that. That's just basic stuff. So that's everything we need to know with regards to Cold War multiplayer. So I hope you like the content, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you very much again for everyone that's subscribing, liking our content. It really much helps. Appreciated. So thank you very much. Have a good day. See you guys later. Good one.